My name is Irawati and I'm from Pune. I did my bachelor's in political science and I graduated this year itself. After that, I worked at at a public policy firm called CPC Analytics for 3 months, and now I'm here. So, a friend's mother, who is actually a sociology teacher, told me about it, and that's how I found out. Well, when I went through the website, I realized that there's a lot of emphasis on practice. And I thought that since my BA course involved a lot of theory, it's time that I should actually venture outside and learn things on ground. So that is something that I had expected that the fellowship would give me. So sort of a balance of theory and practice is what I'd expected. So even during the theory classes, there were a lot of case studies and examples and empirical, studies. Also, there was the practica, which involved us going straight into the field for 2 days in a week. So yes, I think I did get that from the fellowship. Well, I like the lectures which had a lot of theory, partly because I like words, and when words are used to explain a lot of things in a lot of detail, I think they open up new ways of thinking in a sense. So the fellowship gave me a lot of readings, not that I was able to read all of them or anything like that, but I think it opened my mind to a lot of things. So I like the theory aspect of the fellowship as well. I think the faculty itself is also pretty diverse in a sense. So for instance, I think Gautam is very much out there on field, and as a result, the experiences that he comes up with are very contemporary, on ground, and the experiences that he draws from, they are also sort of from people who are involved in the social field on the other side of the state. So it's not only about the state he talks, but also people who are activists in a sense. And then sort of theory comes in, and I really appreciate that. Then again, there is Sudeshna, whose classes are a mix of theory, and initially there were a lot of technical aspects that she helped us explore. So I think that was really helpful. Then I think some of them even took certain skill labs. So Shreya took the Excel classes, and I think the fact that all the faculty sort of engages in technical stuff as well as theoretical stuff is something which I find really nice. The skill labs were quite diverse in a sense. So some were, I think, very technical in the sense that we learned GIS, we had the media lab, and I think it's really good to get acquainted to these techniques because I think they're going to be they are really important when it comes to helping your research reach out to a lot of people. So I think that was pretty important. And on the other hand, there was also the writing lab, which I found really useful because they taught us different forms of writing to ensure that our writing becomes better as far as academics is concerned, and also this thing called crossover writing, which ensures that your writing reaches out to the larger public, and I thought that was very useful. I would have liked to have more time for each subject, in the sense that I felt like I was getting acquainted to a lot of subjects, and the classes were pretty intense, but then I would have liked to continue with them in greater detail before another commons subject or elective started. But I guess, I mean, there was still a lot that was taught to us during the classes. Well, I think the fellowship has made me a more grounded person in a sense. So, while on the one hand, a lot of other disciplines were opened up to me through the fellowship, including planning and to a certain extent architecture, I think the fact that so many things exist out on the ground has sort of provoked me to explore things more. As a result, it has made me more grounded, and I think I would open my eyes and pay attention to things that are happening around me more closely. Yes, absolutely. I do think so. Partly because, like I said before, even in classes or the way our practica is structured or the way our projects are structured, we are working on things which are happening around us right now. So these case studies are very contemporary in nature, and then theory sort of comes in through the classes. So I definitely think it's a very contemporary sort of a course. Sure. So I'm working on the Chennai-Bangalore Industrial Corridor, and within that, I'm researching on the Peripheral Ring Road project. So the nature of my project was that I had to do some secondary research, and from the information that came out of it, I have to conduct interviews. So it's very different from the practica, in which we had to go to the field first and then frame our research questions. So this is something that has happened, and so within the Peripheral Ring Road project, I'm looking at how the state is sort of bypassing its own policies by coming up with amendments to the acts that it has passed before. So this is something that I'm looking at in the project. Oh, I really like it because I think I'm experiencing a lot of freedom, in a sense, a sort of a freedom that I had not experienced to this degree in college. So there's a lot of moving around within the building itself, and you can talk to the faculty members, you can talk to friends, and it's very open in that sense. So even the classrooms are pretty open and interactive, and I really like that. Well, I would say if you are an open-minded person who likes to explore different aspects of the city and who would like to know how things work out on ground, actually how what you've learned actually works out, plays out on ground, I would say go for it.